Section 6-5, Part 3. Writing systems of equations to solve using addition. Two runways at an airport, runway A and runway B, have a combined length of 20,500 feet. The difference of their lengths is 5,500 feet. What is the length of each runway? Well, the first thing that we need to look at, we need to designate our variables. I'm going to let x equal to the length of runway A, because we're talking about runway A and runway B. I'm going to let y represent the length of runway B, okay? Now, I'm going to take that first sentence. It says, runway A and runway B have a combined length of 20,500 feet. So I know that when I add the length of runway A plus the length of runway B, I'm going to get 20,500 feet. So I'm going to let equation 1 be represented as x plus y. The length of runway A plus the length of runway B is going to equal to 20,500. That is the equation I get from the first sentence. The two runways have a combined length. Combined means add them together. Together their length is 20,500 feet. Now let's take the second sentence. The difference of their lengths is 5,500 feet. Difference means to subtract. So that means for equation 2, when I subtract their two lengths, the difference of their two lengths is 5,500. So I now have my two equations. This is the system of equations that I'm going to be solving to determine the length of each runway. I was told that their combined length was 20,500, and I was told the difference in their lengths was 5,500. Which method do we want to use? Do we want to use substitution or do we want to use elimination? Well, I would use elimination, which is also referred to as addition. So anytime you hear the word elimination, that's the same as addition. So to solve this method, I'm going to use, or to solve this system of equation, I'm going to use the addition method because I see that they're in the same, they're all lined up. X's are lined up, Y's, equal signs and constants. I do see when I look at my Y's, one is the opposite, one's positive 1 and one's negative 1, therefore they will cancel. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is add them. Well, 1x plus 1x is going to give me 2x. These cancel when I add. 20,500 plus 5,500 gives me, in this problem, 26,000 when you add those together. So when I added the y's, they canceled. When I added the x's, 1x plus 1x was 2x, and when I added my constants, I got 26,000. Solve for x. Divide both sides by 2. So x equals 13,000. Use your calculator. X equals 13,000. So for our point of intersection, x is 13,000. Now what is y? So to find y, we must substitute it back into one of the original equations. It does not matter which one. I'm going to substitute it back into the first one. X is 13,000 plus y equals to 20,500. I'm substituting it back into x plus y equals to 20,500. I'm taking what x is and I'm plugging it into x in the first equation. So I've replaced x with 13,000 plus y equals to 20,500. Solve for y, subtract 13,000 from both sides. The 13,000s cancel. I end up with y equals to 7,500. So there's my Y value. Y value is 7,500. So remember, X was the length of runway A. So the length of runway A is 13,000. Remember, Y, based on our representation in the beginning, Y is the length of runway B, X is the length of runway A. So I've got 13,000 is the length of runway A, 7,500 is the length of runway B. Okay, so 13,000 is the length of runway A, 7,500 is the length of runway B. And we also need to check this. Remember, we must check. We must take our answer that we found, 13,000 and 7,500, and substitute it back in to the original two equations. X plus Y equals 20,500, and X minus Y equals to 5,500. Those are our two original equations. So let's see if our answers satisfy those two original equations. So X is 13,000, is 13,000 plus my Y, which is 7,500. Does that equal to 20,500? This is the checking part. You're plugging them both back in and seeing if the left side equals the right side. So when you add 13,000 plus 7,500, you do get 20,500. So therefore, yes, the left side equals the right side. So it does satisfy the first equation. Does it satisfy the second equation? Does our solution satisfy the second equation? X is 13,000 minus 7,500. Does that equal to 5,500? Does my left side equal the right side? If you punch this in your calculator, you would get 5,500. So yes, my answer does satisfy the original two equations. Therefore, the length of runway A is 13,000. The length of runway B is 7,500.